Yo, what is up, boys and girls? My name is Osmer, and originally I was making a video about a different topic. It sort of fell through because I never really make videos with notes or anything. I just sort of jumble some thoughts in my head, and I'm like, this is good enough to run with. Let's start the camera. That's usually what I do whenever I do make videos. It's been a while since I've done this, so going back to it now, it's a little more difficult. I used to have a much easier time sort of sorting my thoughts out in my head and being able to make a video in one take. That's one of the things I do pride myself in, is I make videos in one take, and usually cohesively and eloquently. There we go. Right off the bat, I sound terrible. Anyways, what I wanted to make this video about is one of the reasons I actually voted for Donald Trump. I did vote for Trump. If you've been a long-time viewer of this channel, you probably know that my past history was very liberal. I was a very hardcore Barack Obama supporter back in the 2012 elections, and I hated Republicans. I think I've actually made a video titled "Why Republicans Suck" or "Republicans Are Fucking Stupid." I don't remember. It was something inflammatory towards Republicans. And to be clear, I hate neocons like Mitt Romney and John McCain and stuff like that. I still hate those people. I hate a lot of what they stand for because they weren't really, hard with their political ideology. They were sort of playing softball with Barack Obama. And that's probably why they never really stood out during any of the debates or whatever they had with him. Sorry, I haven't been staring into the camera. But yeah, I want to talk about one of the reasons I voted for him, though, and that is illegal immigration. Illegal immigration is a tough topic to talk about with people because some people can get very, very, very emotional about it, even if they don't relate to it in any way, shape, or form. Usually, one of the reasons that people say, oh, we need to support these illegal immigrants, grant them amnesty, allow them into the country, maybe do some vetting with the criminals, get them out of here, sort their lives out, maybe send them back to their home country, who knows. One of the reasons a lot of people say to do that is because we're all immigrants. And that's true. America is all immigrants, or at least most of us are. There's some Native Americans that I'm related to up in a place north of here, and they have like a little casino and shit, everything going around, And that's what a lot of Native American communities have turned into. That and a lot of drugs, and it's very sad to see the current state of a lot of Native American communities, but that's beside the point. They are the original, owners of this land, so to speak. But most of us in America are immigrants. That is undeniable, but it is not a reason to allow illegal immigration. Maybe to grant sympathy to illegal immigrants, sure. They came here looking for a better life, but they did it without the proper paperwork, and that's easy for a lot of people to say. I like to put perspective into the way I think about things. It sort of really messes with your head because you got to think logically, but at the same time, I do think with my heart in a lot of situations, and I'm like, what if I were that mother or, that family that snuck over the border looking for a better life because they were scared of getting beheaded back in Mexico, and they were looking for a better life here, and then I sort of have to throw that out of the window and realize that you can't support a country full of people that you don't even know you're paying for, that haven't gone through the right procedures to sign up for social security numbers and such, and that aren't honestly paying their fair share. A lot of people will tell you, oh, they steal social security cards. That's a felony, and they pay taxes through those, through dead people's social security numbers, or even living people's social security numbers. And they're like, yeah, they pay taxes or whatever, and they do this or that. Sure, that's fair enough, but they don't pay it to the full extent, and we do undeniably spend a lot of money on the illegal immigrants that have come into this country, unfortunately, due to the policies enacted by a lot of our former presidents, mostly liberal, because this is one of the irritating things, is people will look back at their Barack Obama and they're like, he liked immigrants. Hillary Clinton would have loved all these legal immigrants, and she would have granted them all amnesty. She would have. But would it have been out of the goodness of her heart? No, you're bullshitting yourself if you believe that politicians ever have the goodness of the heart in mind. Any smart politician will realize that it's best for the country to remove these people from the country until they can go through the proper procedures to actually have legal status in the country. A lot of politicians would recognize that is the best way for America, but liberals play into this, and the main reason why they do it, just a heads up here, is because if you granted amnesty to all these illegal immigrants, or a large majority of them, your voter base would be so big you would never lose another election. That's what they were going for. If they got Hillary Clinton in the White House, that's what they would have done. It's over. They would win every single election after even no matter who they ran. They could run a bucket. They could put a bucket up on there and have him on stage, and Bernie Sanders would still lose to that bucket. And because the bucket was so hardcore supported by the DNC, that bucket would be the next president, and he'd be like, bring in more people that'll vote for us. It's just the smart thing to do as a politician, is you want to expand your voter base through the easiest means possible. Is there anything easier than expanding it by, saying, the Republicans fucking hate you, we love you guys, we made y'all illegal, you owe us, come on, give us those votes, make sure we never lose again. That's why a lot of people who like to fuck around with world affairs, people like George Soros or whatever, had a lot of money in the pockets of people like Hillary Clinton and liberals in general. Liberals are seen as the new way forward because they have such an expansive voter base due to a lot of uninformed voters or just people who feel threatened by the opposition. The parties, the people that are voting for these parties are just growing large numbers every day. People believe that the millennial population, people 18 through 29, even Gen Xers, are going to be big, liberals, and that they will have that voting population through that. Donald Trump was basically the last stand of reasonable thinking. Even if you see the guy as an idiot, which I do, I watch his speeches where he's off the cuff, he sounds like a fucking moron. The dude sounds stupid as fuck, but a lot of what he said resonated, and unfortunately, I had to vote for him because he was, he wasn't the neocon. You felt that he was actually going to do something about illegal immigration. Mitt Romney was for granting amnesty status. Every Republican up until Donald Trump really, was like, we can't hand the next fucking 200 years of our country to these people just because, we're fucking incompetent and castrated people. Donald Trump came out and he's like, we're getting rid of them. Fuck, send him back. And I was like, yes, that is a good idea. You have to think with your heart about these things too, but sometimes it becomes dangerous to think with your heart because you start putting too much emotional investment in these things and you start just assuming everybody's some unfortunate, product of society that just needs to come here for one fucking meal. They just need to live in this country, and we need to be there for all these people because they are all just withering away without us. And it's true. There was a lot of people that come over from poverty in Mexico and come over here and they live. And there's also a lot of criminal activity that comes from Mexico due to the fact that these people can get over the border so easily. Illegal immigration in America is a bad thing. Okay? And in the future, I feel like I addressed enough as to why I think this way. But to summarize, politicians wanted illegal immigrants to be granted amnesty, at least Democrats did, because they wanted to reassure their voter base. Illegal immigration is not a good idea. It brings a lot of criminal activity, and it just brings a lot of bad news for the country. In terms of economic policy, it's not a good idea to spend a ton of money on these people. They're not citizens, and unfortunately we have spent a ton of money on people who are not citizens and do not pay their fair share, quote unquote, in taxes. They come here and oftentimes dodge taxes, work under the table and such. That's basically it. There's nothing positive that comes from having illegal immigrants in your country, really, at all, except for maybe for businesses that need cheap labor. But it is totally sustainable to grant these jobs to other people. I mean, people always like to say illegal immigrants leave. Who's going to take their jobs, huh? Nobody wants to go out and pick berries all day. Sure they do. You have to force them to raise the wages there. You're saying that it's okay for people to be paid under minimum wage, which completely goes against everything that you're talking about anyways in terms of minimum wage. I mean, I assume that even if you're for illegal immigrants being granted amnesty, you're also for a minimum wage. So you're okay with these people not being paid fairly? Or you're okay with that? I don't understand it. You're basically saying, yes, we should have cheap labor that you're allowed to pay under minimum wage. It completely contradicts it. Those people should have to pay their fair share. People will want those jobs. If those jobs pay minimum wage, people will want to go out and pick berries like the illegal immigrants do. fuck? I mean, make those people pay the money. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. People will do those jobs if illegal immigrants leave, because you will have to bring in legislation that forces these people to pay minimum wage, at least to their workers, and have to make sure that they're legal. Otherwise, they'll be fucked. Because right now we're pretty lenient on that, and that's why you have so many illegal immigrants working out and picking berries and shit all day. But yeah, that's not an argument. Not an argument. It shouldn't be an argument, at least unless you're a total fucking hypocrite. But yeah, that's about it. That's literally everything I can think of as to why illegal immigration is bad, summed up into a less than 11-minute video. I love you guys. Have a good day. I will in the future talk about refugees in Europe and stuff like that, and some other things, that involve the topic too, that are within the same range of the topics of like illegal immigration and refugees. I love you guys. Have a good day.